So over the last 20 years or so, I've been obsessed with this idea of creating freedom, both time and money freedom. And I've talked with literally hundreds of people during that time who all shared the same goal that I did, to one day be able to build a business that had a residual income stream that would help them walk into their boss's office and sack the boss for good and be free of the rat race, right? But the one thing that I've always found is that most of those people who had that dream never sat down to work out what their freedom number is. And I think this is a really important thing because it gives you a goal to focus your mind on and to orientate all of your behavior around and behind that one goal to drive you forward. So in this video, I want to talk to you about what your freedom number is. So it's such an important thing, and maybe you already have a bit of a feel for what your freedom number is, but let's just talk through a few things that might help you get clarity on that. So I Googled what the average income in the USA is, and this was taken back in 2013, right? Or 2014. The average income in the USA was $51,939 in 2014. That's not a lot of money, right? It's not a lot of money, but that is the average. So let's use that as a basis for our discussion around the freedom number. Now, maybe you earn more currently, but in order for you to be free, you don't necessarily have to replace your full income. Let's say you earn $100,000, but you have this extravagant lifestyle and you spend $10,000, $20,000 on having fun, traveling and so on. Well, you could be free from the rat race just by toning that back a bit, paying off some debt so you don't have as much drain on your cash flow, and maybe your freedom number is less than what you need, what you're currently earning. And this is important because the sooner you can get free from a job where you're putting in 40 or 50 hours a week, plus traveling time and so on, you've then got that time as a resource to use to continue to build your residual income streams and whatever business that you're using to generate that residual income. So let's use 51,000 as a basis, but that was 2014. So let's adjust it up to say 5,000 a month, which is $60,000 as an average income, right? So that would mean if that was you, then freedom to you would be $60,000 per annum, $5,000 per month. The question becomes, how can you create $5,000 a month residual income after expenses, right? You've got to factor in your expenses, but to keep it simple, we'll just work on $5,000 a month. So that becomes our goal. We need to build a business. If you've seen my video about the 3 income streams, number 1 is you trade your time for money, which is what you're doing in a job. Number 2 is to invest your way there and get your money to pay your money, but you need $1.2 million to earn $5,000 a month invested. And number 3 is to build a business that, if you build it correctly, can generate a residual income stream for you. So what sort of business do you need to build that's going to generate that income for you? That's the thing you have to give careful consideration to. A lot of opportunities out there, but there are only certain businesses which will give you that ongoing evergreen residual income stream long into the future. You need to think carefully about it. And I'd recommend that you check out my video on the characteristics of a residual business, what to look for in a residual business. I've made mistakes in the past and it's cost me money and time because I was building the wrong business and I was a bit deluded in my thinking about what the right business might be. You need clarity around that, so make sure you check out that other video that we've got there. What would it be worth to you to actually have a business asset that generated $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year? What it would be worth would be if you had an investment portfolio that generated $60,000 of income to you per annum, you would need $600,000 invested at 10%, right? So the question, of course, is how much of that $600,000 do you have right now invested in income producing assets? So you can't look at the value of your car and your house because they don't generate you an income, right? Unless you're an Uber driver, but it's not really an investment because you've got to sit there and trade time for money. So you can't look at those sort of assets. You've got to, I'm talking about income producing assets, money that's invested in real estate that somebody else is paying you to sit in, right? Or money invested in the stock market where you're getting a dividend from the companies because they're making profits, right? How much of that $600,000 do you have right now? And in the next 5 years, where are you likely to be? Most people can't save enough money from their job income to invest enough money to get to freedom, right? So they end up retiring on a level of income that's well below what they need to survive. And you don't want to be that person, because right now you've got the greatest opportunity in the history of the world, I believe, to be able to take control of your own future and build a residual income stream that will last long into the future, long past your retirement if you set it up right. So 60,000 per annum, you'd need 600,000 invested at 10%. The problem with that, of course, is in this day and age, the current interest rate climate and economic conditions we have, getting 10% on your money is almost impossible unless you speculate, right? And you go into high risk type investments, which you don't want to risk your capital if that's what's producing your income. So in reality, you're probably more likely to get 5%, which means you would need $1.2 million invested, right? And this is why I say you're probably not going to save and invest your way to freedom. It's far more likely you'll get there by building a business online that, if you set it up right, will create a residual income stream for you. And that's what we're all about here at the Freedom Network. It's what we help people do through our coaching and mentoring programs and courses, is show you, what is the right type of business to build online. Not every business online is going to give you a residual income stream long into the future. Some will make you some short-term money. You might make good short-term money. I've got friends who are speculating on cryptocurrencies right now with a multi-level marketing matrix thing attached to it. And, good luck to them, because they're making a bit of short-term money on that. But, there's no real certainty around that being surviving into the future, right? As opposed to if you make courses that solve problems that people have, and you have a genuine solution to a problem, and you set it up in the right way, and you do it so that it's evergreen, that course could make you an income stream for the next 20 or 30 years, right? That's the sort of thing that we're after here. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's about planning for the long term and building a real business with real business assets that you can leverage, and you can automate the sales and marketing and turn it into a residual income stream. And then when you've got one of those residual income streams up and running, you just duplicate that, right? That whole process, you just rinse and repeat and build another one and then another, right? And over 5 years, you might build out 2 or 3 really solid residual income businesses that guarantee your future. If one of them goes bad, you've still got 2 others, right? That's what we're talking about here. So the starting point, as I said, you need to get really, really clear on what your freedom number is. Is it 5,000? Is that how much you want to generate per month residually to be able to go in and sack your boss? Because that is the main milestone, I think, in when you become an entrepreneur. Most people who become entrepreneurs, they do so in a job, and they start working in their spare time at home, right? But that job is a 40-hour-a-week drain on your resource, your number one resource, which is time. 40 hours plus traveling there and traveling home, right? So maybe it's 50 hours a week for most people. That job is draining 50 hours a week. The sooner you can get to a point where you've got a residual income stream coming in and you can sack the boss and quit your job and become free, you can take that 50 hours and put it into building more residual income businesses, and you can exponentially grow as a result of that, right? So you've got to decide, what is your freedom number and how long is it going to take you to get there? What are you going to do to actually get to that point where you become free from the rat race? It starts with knowing what your freedom number is. So what you want is a business that can generate you $5,000 a month in residual income. If you built that, then it's the equivalent of a $1.2 million asset base invested, right? Now, you can't take the money out and spend it, granted, but it's the same net result in terms of the return on the investment, right? $5,000 a month. Now, it's quicker to get to the point where you build a business that generates you $5,000 a month than it is, as we talked about, to invest your way to $1.2 million. So once you know your number, you need to pick a date. What's your freedom date going to be? If you got really excited, you could do it in the next 3 to 6 months. If you don't have as much time as some, then it might take you 1 or 2 years. Whatever it is, pick a date and say, that's my freedom day, right? Pick a date. Be realistic. Don't think you're going to do it next week if you've never built a business before and earned money through your own business. If you've never sold a product or created a product, don't think it's going to happen next week. It's going to take time. There's work to be done. This is residual income, not passive income, right? I don't like the term passive income because it makes people think they can do nothing and get paid. This is work, build a business, build an asset base, and then get paid on going into the future. That's what we're all about here at the Freedom Network. So pick a realistic date. Tony Robbins said most people, they overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they could achieve in 10 years, right? So don't come up with unrealistic timeframes. Pick a time frame that is right, that you can achieve, based on how much time you can put into it each week. So you need to have your freedom number and your freedom date. Then you need to know how. And that's what we're about here at the Freedom Network. We mentor and coach and train people on how to build a business online and then build digital products that they can build automated marketing systems around, and that creates residual income. So go and check out the Freedom Network if you want to find out more about that. But for now, decide what your freedom number is. Pick a date when you're going to achieve it by, and the day that you break free, and then talk to us about how, or come and check out our training courses on how to actually go about achieving your freedom business model. My name's Rod Moore from the Freedom Network, and I'll chat to you soon. Cheers.